We'll call the regular council meeting of November 17th to order and start with the acknowledgement of treaties of peace and friendship. We would like to begin by acknowledging that the land on which we gather is the traditional unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq peoples. This territory is covered by the treaties of peace and friendship, which will list away Mi'kmaq and Passamaquoddy peoples first signed with the British Crown in 1726. The treaties did not deal with surrender of lands and resources, but in fact recognized Mi'kmaq and Wolastoqey title and established the rules for what was to be an ongoing relationship between nations. Walaman, thank you. Next is the oath of office. We do hereby accept the office of council and will diligently, faithfully, and impartially discharge to the best of our ability the duties of the office as may be imposed upon us by law. Next is the moment of reflection. Deputy Mayor.
Moment of reflection for November 2025. We have Laura Lee Blay of Nash Creek, Anne Levine of Lorne, Chester Masrell of Beldoon, and Mrs. Jane Divenborden from Beldoon.
We have a moment of silence, please. Thank you. Next is the adoption of the agenda. Do we have any additions?
I'd like to add something if I could, please, an acknowledgement.
Okay, anybody
I
else?
also, Your Worship, it would be in addition to the request for funding, on our budget. One has to do with the Poppy Fund. It should have been on the agenda here or in the request this month for the Poppy Fund. And another one is a request from Crime Stoppers about a banner. So I'd like to have them added. Basically, I'll be making a motion to have them added.
Okay. And as for me, I'm going to keep the first one on for discussion, but the second one, the golf tournament donations discussion, I'm going to register a conflict of interest with that one. And there's another one, the previous one, I think. Yeah. So council can discuss that without me having to introduce the discussion on it. So that would be, I would have just one. So, anyone else? Can we get a motion to accept?
M 2025-1117-129, that the agenda be adopted as amended with changes.
On the question, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passed. Oh,
I will second that.
okay. On the question, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passed. Statements of conflict of interest, I'll be registering a couple. If anyone else has to register, please do so with the clerk. The adoption of minutes from October 6th and October 20th. Can I get a motion?
M 2025-1117-130, that the minutes of the Committee of Whole Council meeting of October 6, 2025, and the regular meeting of October 20, 2025 be adopted as presented.
Can I get a seconder?
I'll second it.
On the question, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passed. Any business arising for the minutes? Microphone is on. Do you have something? Okay. If not, then let's move to statements by members of council. I have one. It's Paul's Lookout Assistance discussion. Going back to the previous council, we at times get requests from Paul to try and see if we can help in some way back at the lookout. In some cases we have, in some cases we haven't been able to. But a few weeks ago, I was talking to Paul and he asked me if I'd bring it to council's attention again. He would like to get some tables, he would like to get some gravel, some work on the road. I think if we were able to, talk with Paul and perhaps get a list. I don't think he has a specific request in, but he did ask for discussion. So I'm not sure all the councilors know the background of this. It's a little bit complicated, but surely there must be some things that we can do. It would be nice to know, and I'm not sure, maybe CEO Lee can speak to this, what we could help Paul with and what we couldn't do without a third party's permission.
Yeah, sure. This has been brought up in the past, and with the previous council, really all it came down to was that Paul's Lookout is on the snowmobile, the Trailblazers property. They just asked that anything that we do there before we, make any commitments to Paul, that they just kind of be informed. So if council's okay, I certainly don't mind to reach out to Paul, see if we can get a list of what he's looking for there. It was just that because it is on the Trailblazers property, they just wanted to make sure that they were kept up to speed on anything that we were donating or, specifically stuff around gravel and that type of thing. So yeah, that's just a little bit of background on it, but I don't mind to touch base with Paul Devereux and get a list and then reach out to the Trailblazers and just see the parameters around which we can contribute.
So I'm just going to adjourn for 1 second and then I'm going to come back, okay? So I'll do a motion to adjourn. I just have to talk to CEO Lee for like 1 second, okay? So can I get a motion to adjourn?
I move that the meeting is adjourned.
Seconder?
I'll second it.
On the question, all those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion passed. We'll adjourn and then we'll be right back. Can I get a motion to resume?
I motion that the meeting is restarted, resumed, whatever.
Okay, can I get a seconder?
I'll second.
On the question, all those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion passed. We're going to resume the meeting. Okay, so I didn't hear all of that, but was there anything that you needed to add, Leonard? Any council has any questions or, okay.
I think that CAO is going to reach out to the Trailblazers and just to see what our options are with them as well, because they have to be included. They have to know what's going on, right?
All right. That's it for me. Councillor Burke.
Okay, the first item has to do with the Crime Stoppers presentation along with the RCMP. That presentation will take place on January 21 at the Rec Center. I've already confirmed with Daryl about reserving the Rec Center. That will be open to the public. The RCMP, Constable Ghislain Blanchard will be there, who is a member responsible for the Crime Stoppers unit, and the members of the Restigouche Crime Stoppers unit will have been invited, and I'm hoping most will attend. But I'm going to have that placed in the messenger and invite the public to come and take the opportunity to ask questions directly to the RCMP, and Crime Stoppers will be supporting that effort. So that will be January 21, 2026 at the Rec Center between 7 and 8:30.
Can you remind us of this?
So I will place, I will place that in the messenger for the next 2 months, inviting the public. So, it's their opportunity to be able to be face-to-face with the RCMP. Okay, that's going to take care of that one. The only other thing should I discuss the addition to our, I guess, for a donation here, or should I wait till?
Yeah, if you wanted to, we could just probably tack it on to one of the motion that's already created for the $250,
Okay.
and that, if you like, we can
Okay,
just
so
amend that.
I'll summarize what Crime Stoppers is going to be having made. 2 of these pop-up banners there. They come, they're, I don't know, 3 feet wide, and then, you can bring them up and take them down as you need them. One in French and one in English. The supporters of our unit, the Restigouche Crime Stoppers, were asking for a $100 donation from the village of Beldoon. In that sense, and the village of Beldoon will be advertised on the banner. So our sponsors will be on the banner as sponsors who have assisted to financially secure those banners. And it's a way to showcase our unit. We have all the intentions of being a lot more visible in 2026, starting in January. January is Crime Stoppers Month, so that's why we're going to start there with the presentation of the in January. So I guess I'm requesting $100 to the Crime Stoppers unit to assist in the financial issue of purchasing those banners.
Okay.
Okay? We'll just add that on then, okay? The second item I have is about, we had meetings and discussions and things of that nature with the health center here in Beldoon. In some of our conversations, they had mentioned that the building was in dire needs of being painted interior, and they are having some issues, I guess, trying to get Vital-A to come forward and paint it. So I've asked a contractor in our community to give me an idea as to how much that would cost, because I had no idea how much it would be. Members of council have seen that figure, and I don't want to say, for the reason that I do not want to state publicly, so that anyone else, when and if it goes out for tender, would have an advantage one way or the other. But with that said, council has seen it. I'm just wondering where we need to go with this. I believe it's a partnership. For me, I would like to say at budget time, see if we have any interest in including, say, a portion of that in our budget, so that we can approach Vital-A and say we are prepared to step forward for X number of dollars, provided you are prepared to, be a partner in this program. So I don't know if council is looking at that or they're not looking at that. I'm just looking for some direction as to where do I go with this from here. So I guess basically I'm looking to say, prior to finalizing our budget, I would like to have maybe this as an item, as a line item in the budget, and then present it to Vitale saying that we are prepared to go this far. Are you prepared to go the rest of the way so that the partnership and have the building painted? Whether whether it's the Village of Beldoon who secures the contractor, or whether it's Vitale who secures the contractor, one way or the other, we're prepared to go down this road. So I'm just looking for guidance where I go with this. I don't know how council feels about it, or do we drop it here? Do we look at it at budget time? I'm just looking for guidance.
Has Vitality been given the quote, or do they know the quote?
No, they have not. I haven't touched base. I want to deal with council first. I believe that council was aware of this when 2 months ago or whatever it was, when it was brought up by Vitale asking, that their building was in dire needs. So we said, well, look, we'll go out and see what it costs and go from there. So, but no, they have not been notified. This is the first time I'm bringing it to council, and Vitale have no idea.
I'm just curious to see how they respond to other buildings under their umbrella. So if they're responsible for the upkeep of them, I'd like to see what they could do for ours as well.
Anyone else?
I'm just wondering, do we need a tender? Do we need to put it out there? Do we need more than one quote? That's my question, because we can't just go by one. So.
No, there's no question it's got to go out for tender. I mean, at the end of the day, but the other side coin to that is it would depend on whether they were taking the initiative and we were partnering with them, or we are taking the initiative and they are partnering with us. So that's kind of where I'm at. There's no question. I agree 100% that at the end of the day, if we are looking at this venture, we will need to go out for tender and get our quotes and take it from there. I agree to that point. Yes.
Yeah, okay, so I think Vitalite is it's their building. I think they should be approached I have no problem with helping with the work, the funding, whatever, to do it, but as a partner, they're kind of the main partner. We're just the funding partner, so reach out to Vitalite and see if they're interested in us helping with them paint the building.
I also agree with that too.
Okay.
Yep,
So
100%.
And I would imagine it would be tendered through them. It's their building and they're, like as a government entity, I can't see them allowing us to tender it. It would just be.
Well, I actually think they have a workforce. They have their own internal workforce that does work within their buildings throughout northern New Brunswick. But they must have a cost to that, and at the end of the day, so maybe at this stage, if council is in agreement, that I would ask Vitale to maybe send us an email or some information advising what it would cost on their end to do that, so that we could partner with them, seeing what the cost would be at that time. Is that a fair statement? Yes. Yeah? Okay, so thank you very much. I'll take it from there.
Okay. Councillor Guitar McDonnell, you had something?
Yes, we just wanted to make an acknowledgement. We had a wonderful firefighter appreciation dinner on November the 8th, which had a wonderful response. And I'd like to acknowledge that we had 3 students come from the Jacket River School who gave their service to us for a few hours, and they worked very hard, and we truly appreciated their help. And I'm just going to give their first names, Mary, Joseph, Jonah, and Sophia, those 3 students from Jacket River School. So I'd like to acknowledge them and thank them for what they did for us that evening. Thank you.
Anyone else?
It was a good event, and the Jack River students are great. It's not the first time we've had them, so it's great that, that they're coming to help us out when we're in need. We just got to ask, and we do have people that show us up, so that's amazing.
I'd also like to speak on that. I also want to thank them, Jonah, Mary, and Sophia. They stayed till 7:30 because I spoke to them the next Monday morning, and they were a good help, and it's nice to acknowledge them, so good for them.
If I may also make a comment, if I may. Yeah, I agree 100% that, it was really nice to see some students involved, and that was fantastic. But the other side of the coin is that I know our Deputy Mayor, Marilyn Carr McDonnell, and Lillian Carmichael worked pretty hard on organizing the event. The meal was absolutely fantastic. So, just a job well done. And, I know on behalf of a few of the firefighters that I spoke to, they were really impressed and really grateful. I mean, they were all given hats and toques at that event, and, they were all grateful for that. So as far as I'm concerned, it was an organization and a job well done. So thank you.
Yep, definitely agree with that. Well done, ladies, all the organizers. Congratulations to you, and to the students as well. It's a good point. We want our young people to be a part and to volunteer and to do all those good things, and they did that. So congratulations to them. Okay, so we are into administration reports. And the first one, the social and environmental grant report. We have dash 131, if we could get a, sure, yeah.
Thank you. Just real quickly on that. So when the motion gets moved, so we will have 2 additions. So Councillor Burke has asked for $100 to Crime Stoppers, and there would also be the $250 to the Poppy Fund that will add on to this so that we could administer that in November. The next item we can speak on when we get to it, but that would be for 2026. I just want for council to be aware that 132 would come out of the 2026 budget. Item 133, we put in the amount of $750 only because that's the amount that has been done the last 2 years for the Making Spirits Bright campaign. And then the last one, Mr. Mayor, if you want, I can speak on that if now, or I can wait if you want to remove yourself or.
Sure. No, I'm going to step out for that.
Okay.
We can deal with that. And is there much point in me coming in for 133 and stepping back out again, or?
Oh, it's up to you. Yeah, you can step out.
Anyway, okay. So we are at 131. Can I get a motion for 131, please?
M 2025-1117-131, that the social and environmental report for November 2025 be accepted as presented and recommendations approved. $250 to the Spirit of Christmas campaign.
Seconder,
I'll second it.
on the question, all those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion passed. All right, 132. Oh, sorry. My apologies. So can I just see those, Angela, please? I didn't mark them down. Okay. Okay, so we're looking for a seconder? Go ahead, Lynn.
Okay, environmental grant also for $100 for Crime Stopper and $250 for Poppy funds.
In summary, we have 250 to the Spirit of Christmas campaign, 100 to Crime Stoppers, and 250 to Poppy Fund, correct? Okay, now can we get a seconder?
I'll second it.
Okay, seconded by Counselor Hickey. On the
And
yeah?
I do have a question, Your Worship.
Thanks, Ed.
Just for clarification purpose, I did check the sheet of to where we were balance-wise on our donations that are given out. And on there, it shows that there was a $250 grant given to the Poppy Fund already. And that's deceiving, and I say that because in 2024, that's why I'm bringing it up now, because what transpired in 2024, it came to the table in December. So it was issued in December, the check was issued in December. I cashed it on the 20th of December, but it probably didn't go through to the village prior to January. So that's why it shows in 2025. I want to be sure that council understands I'm not double dipping there. Okay?
No, Councilor, I think it's in red because it's earmarked as an annual. It doesn't show that it's been given out. It's just, it's accounted for in, it doesn't come out of that balance. So I think it's in red because it's an annual one that we give. Not to say
Okay.
that you're not double dipping, but it's not, it's earmarked as we give it every year. That's why it's in red, not black.
All right. Anything else? Anyone else? If not, on the motion, all those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion passed. All right, Deputy Mayor, I think we're
Okay. M 2025-11, 17-132, that, sorry. What? I'm sorry, I'm asking for a mover for motion 132, please.
M 2025-1117-132, that the council approve a social environment grant to the Beldoon Gentlemen Hockey Tournament to be issued 2026 for ice time and a subsidized rate of $55 per game, reimbursement up to $500 for the tournament program upon proof and purchase of receipt, and $250 towards the tournament insurance.
Can I get a seconder
I'll second it.
on the motion?
I have a question, just to clarify, because I do it every year. Again, this is a private event. The proceeds do not go to a charitable organization. Is that correct, Mr. Cioli?
Yes, I can't speak to where they go, but yeah, I believe that you're correct, yes.
And our policy typically deals with only charitable events.
Yeah, I believe so. I believe our policy specifically, I don't have it in front of me, but I believe it does.
Thank you.
Sorry, just one more thing to add on to that too is any grants that we make should be facilitated through associations as well. So that was something that we kind of highlighted in going through this. So I'll probably reach out to the tournament organizer. It's very easy to facilitate, but when we document this, the clerk treasurer will be audited on the grants that get done every year. So we should encourage the tournament organizer to associate himself with an association that these can be facilitated through.
Okay, on the motion, those in favor, say aye. Those opposed? Motion moved. Okay, yeah. Okay, can I get a mover for 133, please?
M 2025-1117-133, that the grant of $750 be provided to the Making Spirit Bright campaign.
Can I get a seconder
I'll second it.
on the motion? All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion passed. A mover for 134, please.
Sorry, Madam Deputy Mayor, if I may, just real quickly. On this item, and I'm assuming Mayor Arsenault stepped away because we had already put a motion together on this. Just so council is aware, we've captured this in the grant section. However, this is not coming out of your grant allocation. What happened here is these are revenues that were generated from an event during Beldoon Days. And so they've asked that the revenue that came in be allocated to these associations. So I just want to make it clear to council, this is not coming out of your grant allocation. This is kind of money in, money out. However, we do need to have something documented for auditing purposes so that when we demonstrate that there was revenue made and then it didn't just disappear, it needed to, so that's what this resolution is for, is that it's the revenue that came in through Beldoon Days is being dispersed to these three different entities.
Thank you, CAO. Can I get a mover, please, for 134?
M 2025-11-17-134, that the grant of $500 be made to the IWK Dude Run Bart Dempsey, a grant of $300 be made to Jack River School class trip Theo Shannon Frenette, and a grant of $300 be made to Jack River School Nature Group by Dan Flanagan from revenue generated by the Beldoon Days events.
Can I get a seconder
I'll second it.
on the motion? All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion granted.
So we're off to 7.2, Clerk Treasurer Angela.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We had to review the financial report for the month of October. Starting with the general operating fund, we had a balance carry forward from September of $750,942.31. We had deposits of $392,273.47 with interest revenue of $1,975.58. We had checks issued and other payments made, $826,478.26, and bank service fees of $53.23. Outstanding checks at the end of September 2025 were $86,552.74, and the outstanding checks at the end of October were at $18,248.64, leaving us with an account balance at the end of October of $250,355.77. The balance in the capital reserve account at the end of October was $3,051,234.68. The capital operating reserve account balance was $234,438.09, and the gas tax fund balance was $772,055.32. Accounts payable in the general operating fund at the end of October were $189,266.38, and accounts receivable $229,476.29. In the utility operating fund, we had a balance carry forward from September of $14,198.17. We had deposits of $2,098.72 and interest of $31.93. Checks and bill payments were $4,446.43. Checks outstanding at the end of September 2025 were $212.52, and at the end of October, $260.25, which brought us to an account balance at the end of October of $11,930.12. Capital reserve account balance for October 31st was $95,529.62. The operating reserve account balance, $4,140.45, and the trust account balance was $33,394.92. The accounts payable as of the end of October, $3,667.35. And the accounts receivable as of the end of October was $4,500.
So we have a motion to accept.
M 2025-1117-135, that the financial report be accepted as presented, and the accounts payable will be paid.
Seconder,
I'll second it.
on the question, all those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion passed.
Item 722 is for the Regional Service Commission budget. So we had a presentation here a few weeks ago. Jocelyn Hache came in. If you guys had any questions, she was able to answer them. We went through their budget. So I believe it's this Wednesday, Mayor Arsenault and Councillor Robinson will be at the Service Commission to vote on that budget. So they'll need a directive from council as to how you want them to vote on the budget, if you're going to vote to accept it, or if you want to vote against it.
Are we in a position to be able to ask the mayor and Councillor Robinson maybe for just a little feedback as to how things have developed, or how, I know we've seen the budget and everything like that. I'm kind of sitting on the fence here, and I say that because there are things in that budget that I know we are mandated by the province to basically pay. We have no choice. But the other side of the coin is that they do not benefit our community in any way, shape, or form. It's expenses we're going to be paying that show absolutely no results or no financial benefit for our community. That's why, for me, I'm kind of interested to see how maybe the balance of council feels. And I'll put it this way: I could easily be persuaded to vote against it, But I'm, I guess would like to be. I'm interested to hear how the rest of council feel.
Difficult one, I agree, because like you say, we don't benefit from a lot of these services or money that we put in. However, we have to think of in the long run. It will be a benefit to us at some point, we hope. But if we say no, what happens, right? That's the other thing. What if we don't agree with this budget?
Yeah, it's a difficult topic for sure. I know that they're adding quite a few more staff on their budget. So I'm just wondering if everybody feels that I think there's 4 or 5 addition. I'm just wondering if that's a necessity or, in that case, because I'm not sure. Like we're all, and like down the road, I know that the busing and so on, transportation is going to reach us down the road. So we're going to have to pay our share on that. Right now, we're paying nothing on that. And then some of the Casey Irving and the pool, and I know Bearsford and Curling Club and the soccer, I know we use very little of it, but we still touch it. So I guess that's my question is, do we feel that we need that many more extra staffing?
Well, and I want to add to that, there are votes that I'm taking that council hasn't approved. Council hasn't even discussed. Some of them, at some point, may not mean that they're taking money from the village of Beldoon, but we're representing you, and we don't have a directive. And I want to know, I don't feel comfortable voting yes when I haven't even talked to council about anything. I've never seen anything like it, where votes are being taken. We haven't discussed with council. That's not right. And I shouldn't be put in that position, to be quite honest with you. And I'm not saying that's your doing. But I don't feel comfortable voting a single yes on another issue without council's pre-approval. I don't feel comfortable doing it. And I want council's either backing on that or telling me, no, go ahead and do it anyway. Like, I want some direction, because right now I'm voting and I have no idea what council wants because it's never been discussed and it's not right. And Councillor Carmichael just mentioned one of them in terms of hiring. So I would feel more comfortable with a directive, because right now I don't have one.
How does this reflect on Beldoon? Either way, if we were to, if the directive from council is to vote against the budget, how does that reflect on Beldoon with the Regional Service Commission? You know, and you as our representatives?
Well, hard to say. If I was there, I would say, well, at least they're taking time to discuss it and actually look at it, as opposed to just put a hand up every time there's a motion on the table, right? Like, you've looked at it, we talked about it during the budget discussions, we had discussions about it. Questions were asked, and, you know, the clerk treasurer answered them as best that she could. But we all know that there are instances when the service that we receive is not equal to the amount that we're paying. So if that's the case, you know, it's your responsibility in a way to make sure that the money that the citizens pay is being used to the paramount. So but I feel more uncomfortable with always having a motion imposed upon me without council direction. And that's not on you, but I just don't feel comfortable with it. What if you didn't feel the same way, and then I came back the next meeting and you said, what are you doing voting that way? You don't have the prerogative. It's not right.
For one thing, if you don't go to the meeting, you really don't know what's going on in those meetings. You don't know what you're voting on, you know, then at the end of the year, all these things come up. And how did you get there? I know a little bit because I've been going to a few meetings here and there. But as for everything else, we don't know what you're voting for at each of those meetings.
I'm just going to state in terms of the budget, a presentation was made by the Service Commission of their budget. They asked if anybody had questions, to wait 11th hour and now to raise all these concerns about, we don't know. We know what the mandated services are. We know what our share of those services are. There's a formula put in place by the province, and nothing is a surprise. As far as planning goes, we know exactly what we're getting in terms of planning. Is it breakdown evenly? No, we don't have the same population as Bell Bay or the other districts, but we know we're getting building inspectors. We know we're getting planning services. We know we're getting rezoning, those types of things. So it's a little disingenuous to say that we don't know what we're getting for the money. Do we use the soccer field? No, that's not even part of, that's not part of the shared infrastructure anymore. The Bell Bay removed that from the services. So we had ample opportunity to ask questions, and then two days before our budget for the CRSC to say, we're not going to vote on it. That's really, it does not reflect well on Bellevue.
Well, I would say this, the discussion was before the budget discussions, one. Secondly, that's only a fraction of what we're talking about. We're talking about all the votes that happen that aren't even related to the budget. I'd like the council members to go back in the agenda of the Service Commission in the last 5-6 months and see all the votes that were taken that you had not discussed. You would be shocked. How does that happen?
Such as what would council be shocked about that there was equipment bought for Red Pine or everything that they do is within their mandate and their budget. So what exactly would this council be completely shocked at, that their two representatives at the table have voted in favor of buying equipment for Red Pine?
There's not one vote where there was a no that I can remember. What other body, legislative body, would not, in the run of 6 months, have one no vote? It doesn't even make sense. So to say that it's disingenuous, and no, it's not disingenuous. It's doing a job. And I'm not going to avoid the topic. I don't feel comfortable making votes when council has not told me what to do. So we're going to have to figure that one out, because I'm not putting my hand up anymore to say yes to votes that we haven't discussed and I haven't been given an option. Because I'm not putting myself in that position unless somebody else wants to do it.
So we're not, what we're doing tonight is discussing it, how we feel about this vote that you guys are going to do on Wednesday evening. And what I have said already is, we may not agree with the breakdown, but I think in the long run, it's something that we have to abide by, to be honest with you, if we want to be included and move forward with plans. Seriously, we need to, be responsible in that respect, and follow up with what they have planned for our community as well as the others.
Okay.
But we have to know too, okay, the breakdown, we saw the breakdown. We may not agree with it, but I think we're trying to be played fair in this whole issue. So I would say to, even though we disagree with them hiring extra people, that may be only one issue, right? But in all fairness, I can't say that I would vote no on it.
So on the budget, I think there's a consensus to vote yes on the budget. What about any other votes that come up that evening? What do I do?
I say that you need to vote for what's right, for your conscience. Like, I don't think we need to know everything, or it's good to know, but I think you need to say, okay, well, does this make common sense? If it's yes, but I think that we're going to have to vote yes, because we're regional. We're in this together, and we want to put our arena regional. So for that, we have to work together. We may not like everything that's on the budget. I agree. I don't like everything on the budget, but it's going to have to be a yes vote.
I also think that, first of all, the mayor and Councillor Robinson were appointed to that position by council. So you have our authority and our authorization to represent us and vote according to how you feel at the time, because at the end of the day, you're there representing us, and you were appointed by this council to represent us. So, it's no different than right here in this room. We are appointed by the people to represent them in their best interest, and we vote accordingly. So from where I sit, I believe that you do have the authority to vote on issues that come to the table.
So if I vote no, if in my conscience I feel it's a vote no, and I vote no, I'm not going to get any negative feedback from that.
I think on the budget, they just told you to vote yes.
Not talking about the budget.
Use your conscience, vote like we all do at any of these meetings. If you think it's right, vote yes. If you think it's wrong, vote no. But yeah, I think for the budget, I agree, we need to vote yes on this one.
Okay, I appreciate that. That's what we'll do. We'll vote yes on it. And then going down the road, whatever ones I think don't benefit the village of Beldoon, and Councilor Carmichael is right. At some point, you got to look at being a partnership. But I think there are some cases where we're just voting yes because it's, we don't want to say no, but that's not the right thing to do. So, okay. Thank you for that. 7.2.3.
So the last thing for me is the ratio discussion. So we had a budget meeting last week where we were kind of hung up on what we were going to do as far as ratio. And we talked about, we're currently at 1.6. We've been at 1.6 for a while. And we could go to 1.7. And I said I would look into it to find out if we went to 1.7, are we still able to come back to 1.6 at a later date? I sent an email out to everybody, I believe it was on Friday, to let you know that what I found out is, yes, we can come back to 1.6. What I also found out is we don't have to go 1.4, 0.5, 0.6, or 0.7. We can go anywhere in the middle. So I also sent out a summary saying, let's say we went to 1.65. And we could still go back to 1.6 at a later time. And I thought I printed the email and brought it with me, but basically where we were with 1.65 is we didn't have as much of a surplus. It brought us to a more reasonable area as far as where we would land on the budget. We wouldn't be in a deficit position, but we wouldn't have a massive surplus or anything either, and still a bit of wiggle room for the future as well if we had to go to 1.7. So I was just really looking for a directive to move forward with something, and I think I gave you the numbers for 1.65 and for 1.7. So I was sort of looking for a directive so that I can start building this budget, get it submitted, or not submitted, build it, and I have to upload it to make sure it all balances pretty and everything before I can bring it to you guys to approve it, and then I submit it. So I'm just looking for some direction from council on what ratio you would like to use, and if it's not something that we can finalize tonight, we're gonna have to schedule another meeting anyways, like I had said, to go through and approve it, so we can go through all the numbers at that point if you wanted to try a 1.63 or a 1.64, or you can give me some direction tonight on 1.65 or 1.7.
Council?
Yeah, if I may. From my perspective, and I'm asking the question, and we will have a fair surplus if we go to the 1.7. That surplus, I don't believe in our budget we have designated any projects yet. So if we go at the 1.65, we have a few dollars that might balance the budget, but I don't see that being enough money left over to kind of deal with some of the issues we may want to deal with. So from my perspective, where we can, or the next council can go back to 1.6 or whatever level they choose to go to, I'm in favor of 1.7 so that we do have the money already placed, that it's much easier to plan a project when you know you have the money than when you want to plan a project and you've got to find the money by making cuts in other areas. So from my perspective, I'm in favor of 1.7 for this year, and that will allow us enough funding to be able to do some of the things, because keep in mind, we are not planning for this council, we are planning for the next one. So I don't like the idea of binding their hands with absolutely nothing happening in their first year on council. So that's my perspective. And
Yeah, I think 1.7. I'm not going to go into all the details, but I think we should go at 1.7 since we know we can go to 1.6, and I'm going to end at that.
I also agree, 1.7.
Same.
Okay, so 1.7? Okay, so then I guess my only other question is, would it be safe to say that whatever surplus we have, I'm dumping the whole thing into the project line? Because we've already sort of agreed on the other lines? Perfect.
Okay. Is that it?
if I may make one last comment, Your Worship, based on the budget, and I stated it earlier, but I want to state it publicly, because I was the one a few months ago that asked you to put all these numbers together, our clerk treasurer, and you did do an outstanding job at doing that. The numbers are realistic. The numbers look very, very good. The fact that we were in a deficit wasn't your fault, but with that said, it comes down to that, it made our handling of this budget so much easier, and I'm sure all of council will agree to say thank you very much. Well done.
Okay, thank you very much.
Absolutely. And just, mention this at one of the discussions, but for the folks at home who are watching and wondering about this in terms of that figure, that 1.7 figure, and how widely used it is in other municipalities, it is used widely. It is not a number. In fact, we've actually come late to the game in terms of that number. So we've been prudent in not trying to take advantage of that opportunity to do so. But this summer, I was at a meeting. Prime Minister Carney was there, and I happened to speak to many mayors of municipalities who told me that this is the number that they are at. So I would suspect that most of them probably came to issues in the budget earlier than we did, but saw that this was a way to square it and used it accordingly. And so I think using that number now is prudent and probably the right thing to do.
And I would add one last statement to that, Your Worship. The public needs to be aware that this figure has no impact on the taxes they will pay on their property assessment. This is a figure that the province allows municipalities to use, and as you mentioned, many municipalities have used it. But with that said, I want to be clear that this is basically this council's way of maintaining the same tax level as in 2025. So your taxes for 2026 are not going to be affected. The good news is even that the province has frozen the assessment, so there's going to be no increase in your assessment. There's going to be no increase in your taxes. So that's all good news.
That's a great point, Councilor Berg. I think people need to, be informed about that's true. It doesn't affect that, so that's good news. Okay, so we're off to bylaws and policies and 9.1. Do you want to jump on that, or?
We just need a mover for it. So council's aware this is for the PID 50075-357. This is provided by Andre Frenette, the new planning director. So this is the resolution that he requires to continue with the bylaw amendment hearing.
Does that need to be read in full? Okay, do we have a mover?
M 2025-11-17-136, whereas the council has received a request to amend the rural plan provision to allow one more unit in a mixed zone of type 2, bracket MX2, for a total of 16 units in a multiple unit dwelling, and whereas the council wishes to consider the above-mentioned text amendment request, and whereas Section 111 of the Community Planning Act, bracket CPA, requires the public notice relating to the adoption of such bylaw, and whereas the council has already requested the advice of the Chaleur Planning Review and Adjustment Committee for the Chaleur Regional Service Commission pursuant to Section 110 of the CPA, be it resolved that A bylaw amending the Village of Beldoon Rural Plan be prepared, B, the clerk shall, on behalf or for the benefit of council, cause public notice of the publish in accordance with the requirements of subsection 111, brackets 1 of the Community Planning Act. C, the consideration of objections for the proposed bylaw to set for December 15, 2025 to the council chamber in Beldoon, NB, at 7:00 p.m. the proposed D, the proposed bylaw be made available for the public consultation of the municipal office during business hours starting on the day of the first public notice is published.
Can I get a seconder?
I'll second it.
On the question, all those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion passed. 9.2, Fire Conference, 2025.
M 2025-1117-137 that any council and staff members who want to attend the 2025 Fire Conference in Fredericton, New Brunswick on November 28th and 29th, 2025 be approved.
Ms. Seconder?
I'll second it.
On the question, all those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion passed. Dash 138, Regional Development Corporation Funding Agreement, project number 17130.
M 2025-1117-138 that the council accept the Regional Development Corporation, RDC, Community Investment Fund Agreement, project number 17130 for financial contribution of $31,703 for the replacement of the RENA dehumidifiers. RDC letter of offer 17130 dehumidifier.
Seconder?
I'll second it.
On the question, all those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion passed. Dash 139,
M 2025-1117-139 that any council members who want to attend the UMNB Harassment and Intimidation Symposium in Fredericton, New Brunswick on November 14th and 15th, 2025 be approved.
seconder?
I'll second it.
On the question, all those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion passed. Dash 140,
M 2025-1117-140 that the Beldoon Council accept Roy Consultants' proposal to commence the design process and in accordance with the Village of Beldoon procurement policy number 2024-01, advertise the tender by invitation for the Chaleur Drive WTP raw piping replacement project. 381-25-00 engineering service proposal, Chaleur Drive WTP piping, 2025-1004.
seconder?
I'll second it.
On the question, all those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion passed. General correspondence.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Short one, we have the SPC report for October 2025 for information in, along with the Universal Rail Systems Track Inspection report for October 2025.
Okay. So now we are looking at a closed session. Can I get dash 141?
M 2025-1117-141, be it resolved that council continues in meetings in a closed session to discuss a matter under Local Government Act 68, brackets 1, bracket J, labor and employment matters, including the negotiation of collective agreements.
Seconder?
I'll second it.
On the question, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. We'll take a break and we'll be back to adjourn. So we're going to return. Do we need a motion to return? Or? Okay, so we're ready to adjourn. Can I get a
M
motion?
2025-1117-142, that the meeting is adjourned at 8:10.
A seconder?
I'll second it.
On the question, all those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion passed, meeting adjourned. Thank you.